I just had the most ridiculous sneezing spell. I feel the lips. Yes, I just had the most ridiculous sneezing spell. Oh boy, it was like a 10-minute long sneezing spell. Good morning, everyone. How are you? Come on in and say hi. It is whatever day it is. I don't even know. Thursday. I woke up and thought it was Friday. And then I was like, oh, I'm glad it's Thursday. Because Thursday, today, I get to spend the day at a fancy schmancy photo shoot. Come say hi. Come on in. Let me gather my breath because this sneezing spell. So, what am I talking about today? I posted that. I need to fan myself. Look at I'm fogging up. That's how bad this sneezing spell was. Um, I'm talking about. Oh yes, what I do. So, are you living your purpose? I'm stopping there because I want you to think about it. Are you living your purpose? And are you on a are you on a path? Are you on a journey to creating your highest earnings potential? I'm going to stop there too. And in the midst of, are you living your purpose? And are you on a path to earning wealth and your highest earnings potential and creating your highest earnings potential? What things are you doing right now that are really hard? What has happened? What have you been going through that's really hard? So yesterday, I spent some time with a friend, and when I asked her those same two questions, are you in the midst of figuring out your purpose, and are you on a path to creating your highest earnings potential? Her response was, I don't even know what I want because I've been living in the hard for so long. So this is a woman that has been living in a hard situation for the last 9 years. And over a 9-year period, she has lost all ability to even see what her purpose is and even think about her her security and self-sufficiency. So these like same few questions that I asked her, I'm going to toss out into my morning huddle this morning, because even if you are on that path, so even if you're like, okay, I figured out my purpose, okay, I'm on this path to earning my, earning what I want to earn, to creating income, even if you're there, but if you're not there and you're like my friend who's been in this 9-year situation that has completely lost her way, you can still ask yourself these few questions. Good morning, everyone. I was just saying, I had this like really bad sneezing episode, and Anna, it was so bad. I was sneezing for like 10 minutes, and then now I'm hot because of it, and whew, it was just horrible. So now I'm like talking all serious about, are you living your purpose and are you creating the income that you really desire? And a story around a friend of mine that I was talking to yesterday, that an old friend, that's been sitting in this situation for 9 years and has become consumed by it. So the question of living her purpose is just like so foreign. It's not even like a possibility. So I will throw out the questions that I asked her to you guys today, no matter what situation you're in, right? And the first question is really interestingly, the first question is really profound, so profound, and that question is, what do you want? What do you want? Like, whenever I say what do you want, I think of one of my favorite movies with, gosh, what's his name? What's his name? The movie is The Notebook. And in the movie, what's his name? The really cute guy looks at, what's her name? The really cute girl in The Notebook. What are their names? And says, like, shakes her, like, what do you want? And that's what I think of when I say, what do you want to people? But really, what do you want? And my friend had absolutely no idea, none, because this hard that she had been doing, this hard situation, this hard that she's been doing, took all that away, took all of it away. So, but here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. We can do hard. We can do hard stuff, but we do not have to sacrifice what we want to do that hard stuff. We don't have to sacrifice ourselves to do that hard stuff. We don't have to sacrifice ourselves to that situation to get what we want and to go through that hard stuff. Easier said than done. But you know, I can share so many stories around that. But what do you want? And it shouldn't be like a pie in the sky. Well, I want a Maserati, and I want, you know, it needs to be like, and it doesn't even need to be tangible. It's like, what do you want? So I want to have security from within. I want to know that I have a feeling of security from within. That security doesn't lie on the outside. It doesn't. I don't look at my job as my security. I don't look at my husband as my security. I don't look at material things as my security. That security comes from within. That's what I want. I want to be physically healthy. I want to be physically healthy so I can be a grandma one day. So as you see, like, what I want isn't like this. Well, I want the white picket fence and 2 dogs and a perfect family. It's how I want to be. Okay, so what do I want? The second question is, what makes you feel safe? Yeah. I'm reading some of the comments. I'm going to have to go back to the comments afterwards. So the second is, what makes you feel safe? So that security, what makes you feel secure? What are those things? For me, I have security from within, but that took many years to get. I had to lose my job and face my biggest fear. I had to face loss of security to gain security. Isn't that crazy? I had to become powerless to gain power. So a lot of times I have to lose to gain, right? See that? Pain and hardship is the pathway to peace. So security, ultimately for me, is faith. So for me, it's been faith. But what makes you feel safe? What do you want to make you feel safe? So first question is, what do you really want? Um, how do you want to feel? And then what makes you feel safe? And then I want you to do something else. The third one is, if you're in a hard situation right now, looking at that hard situation and looking at whether or not that hard situation that you're working through or dealing with, you are a part of. Are you a part of it? Yes, you may be having to deal with it and do it and all the whatevers, you're doing everything, but what what part do you play in this hard situation? And if there's absolutely no way out of this hard situation, how are you going to go through it? How are you going to go through this hard situation? Kicking and screaming, blaming. So I've done it all, right? So when I took care of my mom, I went through that pretty much kicking and screaming. Um, I was in my late 20s and in my 30s, and the last thing I wanted to be doing in my late 20s and my 30s was taking care of my mom. It's the last thing. So it was kicking and screaming. And I was, a shit show. I was a total shit show getting sober. And then, I had to take care of the kids too. And so I did a lot of it kicking and screaming. One of the things that I learned, though, along the way is that the moment I'm in a hard situation and the moment that I place blame, it takes me away from the moment that I place blame, it takes me away from being able to see my part and to be able to learn from the experience. So here's the really hard part. The really hard part is when you're in that really, really hard situation, all we want to do is blame. So what do you want? What's going to make you safe? And what is your part in this hard situation? And how can you stop placing blame? So you can really look at yourself. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think of that? And here's the thing. This is this is like part of your journey. Like when you are, when you're stuck up against the wall doing the hard, whatever your turn is around that hard, know that this is just act 2 and you have to go through it to get to act 3. And hindsight is completely a virtue. Everything that you are going through is going to come out the other side, and you're going to be able to see, hindsight's a virtue, see that you had to go through that so you could get to the next spot that you want to be. There's no hiding in this, right? There's no hiding it. You have to show up for it and walk through it. The more you hide, the more it's just going to repress and you're not going to grow. So I will leave you guys with that today. Those 3 little things. Those 3 little things to noodle on for the day. Tomorrow I won't be on, as I forget that every Friday I have a standing 9 o'clock. So these are Monday through Thursday, but I will be on tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the Women's Giving 6-week series. So at 10 a.m. tomorrow, I will have Rachel Pryor with me, and she's powerful. She was a teenage mom, and now she's running an entire consulting firm and has been, and she's quite magical. So I will have her on interview style. You will be inspired by Miss Rachel tomorrow. And everyone have a really blessed day. Bye.